I honestly, I don't even know if what I'm doing is correct or not while I'm cooking, but this is just how I cook. I did not know how to cook until I moved out, to be honest. Kind of just had to go with what I knew and carry it off from there, because when you're starving, you make it happen. Welcome back to my channel, everyone. For those who may be new, I'm JessiRae, and it's great to have you here. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click that little bell, that way you're notified whenever I post new videos. So tonight I need to make some pork chops, rice, and carrots, so I figured why not take you guys along with me while I make it. I'm starving, let's get cooking. So I've got myself some baby carrots, some gravy. It's a half a jar because I use about half a jar in one packet of the onion gravy for when I do my little mixture. Got some bouillon, however you want to pronounce it, cubes. That way I can season up the water that I put the pork chops in. And I'm not really a cook, so I'm just gonna get into it and talk about what I'm doing as I'm doing it, I suppose. So I made sure to kind of have everything already prepped out. I've got my pot for my rice with the lid. I've got a pot for the gravy back here, and I've got a skillet for my pork chops and my baby carrots. And please ignore the ugliness. I am going to be remodeling the kitchen eventually. We moved in at the end of 2019, so stuff's not decorated and done up to what we want it design wise. Yeah, so I'm just gonna first I'm gonna rinse my pork chops off. I've got the packet already and defawed, so I'm gonna rinse these and then I'm gonna season them on up. Okay, got my pork chops all rinsed off, and now I'm gonna give them like 2-3 cuts and then season them. Just put little slits in them. Now you're gonna fill the skillet with water. Fill the skillet up with water about halfway, or at least enough to cover your pork chops. And then we will put that on high. I'm gonna take one of my cubes, throw it on in there. I lied, I'm gonna take 2 of my cubes. Not just 1, 2. But I'm not done yet. Now I put salt in there. I don't really know the correct amount of anything, so don't take my word for it. Get myself some black pepper. Some seasonal salt. And to spice it up, red pepper flakes. I also throw in minced garlic. Oh, this is the minced onion. I throw in minced garlic and minced onion. I'm starting with the onion. Throw in some of that. Minced onion. And now we got minced garlic. Oops, that'll be fine. And then I just cover that and let it boil and mix naturally. Next, I get the carrots ready to go into the water. So I give them a quick, I'm just turning all around, just give the baby carrots a quick rinse, and I throw them on in, and I'm just going to throw my carrots in there. If they would go in. I have the carrots on in there, cooking the whole time with the pork chops. Usually I try to give the carrots a little head start, that way they're nice and able to be chopped up and mushy by the time you eat it. Right now I'm gonna prep my pork chops. I start off with some salt, then I go to black pepper. I'll just use this because this is faster. And I throw on some of the seasonal salt onto the pork chops as well. I just do a light dash of this, I don't do a lot. And if you have a black pepper grinder, I'm running out, but I tend to use this to get some of the bigger chunks of pepper onto the pork chops. Not making a mess. Flip over your pork chops and season them same way on the other side. Start with your salt. Go on to your black pepper. And I do some of the fresh pepper ground up on it. And then some seasonal salt. You want to wait for this to boil before you put your pork chops into it. So I'm going to set that aside real quick, and I'm going to get everything else prepped and ready. Now what I like to do to get the rice ready, I use my medium-sized pot for the rice. I need to put some butter to melt it down in the pot. So I want the pot preheated, that way when I put some butter in there it just melts. And then I'll go put my rice in, get that caked with butter. I turn that on high and I'm going to let that heat up. Got myself a spoon, I'm going to get some butter. And I do a generous amount of butter for the rice so the rice isn't like burning. I just do 2 scoops for now. And if you want, you can add a little bit of butter into here. I go butter crazy. I'll turn that off. And then I just kind of squish around the butter until it melts. I'm going to put the lid on, let that kind of steam up and the butter melt. Now I'm going to get my gravy prepared. I'm doing the onion gravy mix, so I like to get this going first. That way the gravy has time to sit. Got my bowl, I poured in some gravy mix, and now I'm going to add 1 cup of cold water. So that's all mixed up. I'm gonna pour it in. Oh wait. It's all mixed up. I'm gonna set that aside. I'm gonna heat up the pot really quick. I'm gonna let that heat up and I'm gonna pour my rice into here. Now that the butter's all melted, I'm gonna pour the rice into there and I'm gonna mix it around so the rice gets nicely coated with the butter. So here's my jasmine rice. So I'm gonna put 2 cups of rice and 3 cups of water. Then I just kind of swish it around, get the butter all caked in there. I mean, this isn't really necessary, it's just what works for me because I used to suck so bad at making rice. I could never get it right and get it to not burn, and this is my one way that I got it to work. I need salt, so I'm going to add some salt to the rice. Throw that on low so that my pot is hot. I'm going to throw the gravy on in. You know, I used to hate gravy, but I tried it when JD's mom made it, some rice, pork chops, and gravy, and it was bien. I'm addicted. I added my water into my rice, but it's clumped up, so I'm going to stir it before I add heat. Mix. So I put this on and I'm going to turn on the heat now for the rice. And I need the rice to come to a boil before I start timing it. And then I've got the gravy on and I need to be stirring that, but I'm going to add in my pork chops now that this has been boiling. So you just go ahead and add your pork chops on in. So the pork chops I cook for 30 minutes. So I'm going to set a timer. So I'll have that going. I gotta stir the gravy and I've got the rice going and I might pull you in for a close-up. I got my rice in here and you're supposed to keep it covered until it starts boiling. It's not boiling yet, so I've got it on high still. I have this on the medium heat. This is my gravy and I'm supposed to be stirring that while that's going. And so this goes to a boil. After I get this boiling, I'm gonna add the rest of this on in there. I've got my pork chops with my carrots cooking on in there. Whoa, steamy. We wait for that to boil. Wait for that to boil. That's already been boiling, so that's just gotta cook. So here's what I've been using. I got my stuff already. What I'm about to do now is I'm going to chop up some lettuce, make us a little salad because dinner is going to take about half hour, if not a little bit more, and we're hungry now. So I like to give us a nice gourmet salad before the dinner, and if we had dessert, which we do have dessert, we got cake, so the full-on meal. Got my bowl, set my stuff aside because I don't really need that right now. Lettuce knife. Got my lettuce, chopped up the lettuce, some salad dressing. Gotta shake it up, shake it up, shake it up. So see, this is boiling, that's boiling. This is why I need more hands. Alright, so the rice is boiling. So I put the rice down on the low heat. Ooh, come on, lens. That's on 25. I'm gonna throw it on 15 right now and just know that I need an extra 10 minutes for the pork chops. But 15 for the rice. This is boiling now, so I gotta stir that on up. I'm gonna add in the rest of the gravy to that. So I added the rest of the gravy from the can. And it turns out I only had like a third of the can, so I had to dig into my new can too. But basically half the can is in here. Or half a jar. I don't know why I keep saying can. Turn that down a little bit so it's not sizzling as much. Salad! I have this shaken up, and I'm just gonna lightly dress it. If that's light, I don't know. I'm gonna add some more croutons. Close that on up. And salad is served. The gravy is now boiling with the new jar in there. So I'm gonna let that heat up a little bit more. I just want to make sure that's really boiling before I turn it off and let it sit and thicken up for the dinner. I don't even know if what I'm doing is correct or not while I'm cooking, but this is just how I cook. I did not know how to cook until I moved out, to be honest. Kind of just had to go with what I knew and carry it off from there, because when you're starving, you make it happen. And I made it happen, so it tastes freaking good to us. Alright, so my gravy is looking good. I'm gonna give it a good stir. And I'm gonna turn the heat off. I'm pretty sure it's been boiling for over a minute now. Alright, so I'm gonna turn the heat off on the gravy. And the rice is still going on a low, medium low. About 2 to 3 minutes, I'm gonna stir the rice. This is boiling pretty good, so I'm gonna turn it down just a smidge. Just keep those juices flowing. The lower and the longer you cook it for, the juicier it gets. Time to eat the salad. So the timer went off. I'm gonna reset it for 10 minutes because I know the pork chops still need 10 minutes. The rice needs 5 minutes to cool off before I fluff it. Ow, ow, should've used my net, but I didn't. I'm gonna stir the gravy because it's been sitting, so I'm just want to make sure it stays good. I'm gonna turn this up because I'm not seeing any more bubbles, and I want to see them bubbles. Let me see that bubbly. Yep, there it goes. Make sure that's going, and our salad is finished. So we just got 10 minutes on the clock. When the 5 minutes were up, I gave this a good stir, and that's what I think the fluffing is. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm new at this, so I fluff it that way. And then my timer went off. Pork chops should be ready. I'm gonna cut them in half. If they are white, then they are done. If I'm shaking, it's because I need to eat. I tend to tremble when I'm hungry. Save the gravy for last. I want my carrots, fish my carrots out and transfer them onto the plate. Here's the plates right now. This one's mine, that one's his. We got our pork chops, rice, carrots. I like to dice up my carrots beforehand. He doesn't really care, but I like to mix my carrots in with the rice. Last but not least, the gravy. I get my spoon for the gravy, and I know he likes the majority of his gravy on his rice. I cake it for him, but then I also like to get the meat covered in gravy. The gravy also helps keep the food reheated because it's still hot, making it all tasty. I like to drizzle some on the carrots. And there you have it. Here is our dinner that I usually make. It's just boneless pork chops, baby carrots, jasmine rice, and gravy. And the gravy we definitely like the onion gravy packets. We just don't have as many, that's why I mix it up with the jar to make this last a little bit longer, because we just love the seasoning that's in here. Thank you all for watching, but dinner is served now, so I gotta get going. Be sure to hit that thumbs up, and don't forget to comment down below if you want me to continue with videos like this, and what kind of dinners or desserts you want to see me make in the future. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye! I moved this back into my editing room, and I accidentally hit the light, and it fell. And I tried to put it back, but only one screw is holding it on. And I'm scared if I get a head injury, that's why.